Now, joining us to discuss resolution by governors to dismantle roadblocks and harmonize levies to help ease cost of foodstuff is the president of All Farmers Association of Nigeria, and he's also president of Nigeria Agribusiness Group, Kabir Ibrahim. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you very much for having me.
At face value, one might wonder, I mean, what have, roadblocks really got to do with the cost of food and what have you? But paint a picture, how has, these roadblocks and illegal roadblocks and levies actually affected the cost of food inflation and all of that before now? And now that the governors have taken a decision, what's your thought?
Yeah, well, maybe you appreciate it from a perspective of poultry production. You know, the energy component of poultry feed is usually corn.
Corn?
Yes, corn.
Right.
And most of it is transported from north to south because we have preponderance of poultry in the southwest. So because of the IGR issue, local governments, state governments want to do IGR. And then some stupid policemen and some agencies put roadblocks, $1 a dozen, on the path of transporters. So if you are sending anything, you do not even know the amount of money that you need to give your driver to go to his destination. They keep asking, and sometimes they bring papers from local governments, from some organizations and all that, and you keep paying. And of course, this money will be added to the costs of the product. So when it goes to the place of need or place of use, the price will escalate to the extent of what they have paid and a little more. And then some of the things that will even perish may start going bad because of these delays and all that. Now, this is the tip of the iceberg. Actually, when the government started looking at all things that are a threat to the attainment of food security, transport costs, this illegal roadblocks, multiple taxation and all that was a factor. The current, the Minister of Agriculture is the chairman. There is a cabinet committee to look at the causes of inflation, food inflation, cost of food and all that. And one of the aspects is transportation, multiple levies and all that. And a subcommittee was set. I think the Minister of Defense chaired it. We are members. I was there. In fact, in visiting this, the governors, we should have been called because, in fact, the Minister for Defense, Agriculture is the main committee chair. The transportation, livestock, we were all there in this subcommittee. So I'm happy that they went to brief the governors of this because these things happen in their base, in their domains. Because all the states, you go across all the states going to wherever you are going to have to supply whatever you are carrying. So it is good that they have decided that this will be off of the problems. And it's a very welcome development. And we have always maintained that the issue of food security is actually a subnational issue. Production itself takes place at the subnational level because agriculture is a rural vocation. Right. You don't farm here in Abuja, for instance, appreciably. It is in the rural areas, and that you have to have rural feeder routes, and you don't need people stopping, people transporting these goods from places of production to the market, because it starts from there. If I produce anything in my farm in the village, and I am taxed variously, taking it to my home and to the market, I will add up everything, cost of production, cost of transportation, and all that. And we all know that since fuel subsidy removal, even the cost of transport is high itself. Then on top of it, you have these multiple taxations. So it's a very, very serious threat factor to food inflation. Now, you know, it's very clear that the NBS is saying that we have food inflation to the extent of 22.97%, and
yes.
people are happy. But you know, in some countries, people are going on strike because of 2% food
yes,
inflation.
of course, single-digit.
So it's a very welcome decision,
yeah.
and we are happy that the subnationals, the governors, are really getting into it.
Okay.
There are many other issues
yeah.
that they should handle because they are multifaceted.
Let's go to those issues. Because of
yes,
time,
please.
you know, you have highlighted that this is just part of the problem.
Of course.
What are those other issues? And there are those who will say there are also arbitrary practices by middlemen when it comes to food inflation.
Well, you see,
so talk about those other issues.
It's a very dicey situation. You at the farm gate, prices are farm gate prices. The farmer cannot be responsible for inflation because he will only take to the market that which is superfluous to what he will eat. Because I'm saying this for the farmer because most of our farmers are basic farmers and they are almost subsistence farmers. So whatever happens, somebody has to buy from them
yes.
to take to the market. If you refer to that person as the middleman, the middleman is marking up, putting markups for this, and it's the middleman that you talk about that is suffering from all these multiple taxations, and the end product will cost to the extent of what he or she suffers. So if we want to do it very well, we should help with a kind of transport system that will be seamless from position of production to place of need and utilization. You know, we must not think in terms of having whatever we produce coming to the market in its primary form. We must look upon it as something that is value added. So I want to take the matter to, you take whatever is produced from place of production to place of processing,
Right.
then to the market. Okay. Because the food system you are talking about is comprising of production, processing, distribution, and marketing, including also consumption. This is what is called food system.
Yeah.
The food
And this is a global issue. You must look at it as it is almost a cake to carry an animal, a live animal, from Kaduna to Lagos. You should take it, the meat of it, off of the bone.
Processed.
And processed before you even sell
and
it.
stored properly.
Yes, but we are here now. It's just like the way you go to the market and you see rice, you see everything in basins. You see flies all over
So
it.
even
Is
this
it normal
solution-
to do that?
this-
So we should address all these issues
Right.
if we want to get to the first world. You know, if you go to the Netherlands, for instance, there are so many refrigerated vehicles
Right.
transporting, and there are so many articulated vehicles, and they have their own roads. They don't come into where you drive your fancy car. They drive on the sides and nobody stops them.
But is this all for the government? Because you were highlighting that this is just one of the problems they're trying to solve. So when you highlight all of this, whose responsibility is it?
Well, it is multi-pronged, but the enabling environment should be created by government. You must have punishment and reward. And the only person who will do that is an institution. I cannot say that if you cross this one as an individual, I will slap you. That is not the law. So we always go back to government. And I told you there is a lot of work that was done by the subcommittee. We are looking at, because the question of multiple taxation and all that is a very small fraction of what happens. You need to have specialized vehicles to transport food. You need to even use wagons,
Well, these are not
air-conditioned
things
wagons.
that government will necessarily
No, but I will tell you.
provide,
I will
but
tell you what
these
will
are-
happen. I will
yes.
tell you what happens. You see, take China for instance. When you were talking about China in the Iron Curtain, behind the Iron Curtain, people were incentivized, were encouraged to do many things from the private sector.
Right.
They were given a lot of enabling environment to do it, and so they come out and they do these things, and then the private sector is really working, because every economy of every nation is 80% private sector and 20% government. But in Nigeria, is it so?
Well, based on what you
So
said,
that's why
this
everybody
not
is
even
now blaming
about-
government.
It's not about roads. I mean, I'm thinking, how about rail? How about providing?
No, but
the
you see,
infrastructure that is,
you are
required?
talking
But
of
we have to-
transportation.
Yes.
You must talk of all these things.
Yes,
But
indeed.
our rail network, working rail network, is it really sufficient?
we'll have to say thank you
The
very much.
Road network, is
Yes.
it really good, sufficient?
So many
Questions and
questions.
answers.
Yeah, Kabir Ibrahim, All Farmers Association of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. Also, President of Nigeria Agribusiness Group.
Thank you.